London. At that time, London nationalization is so we right now I not know why. In your country, especially in Thailand, mango is created in your country to plant mango on the coast side of Myanmar. I was to the mango.
まもなく会議を始めますのでご着席くださいますようお願いいたします。本日の会議は日英同時通訳で行います。日本語はチャンネル1、英語はチャンネル2となります。Simultaneous interpretation will be provided today. Please set your receiver to channel 2 for English. Please press the button on the microphone when you wish to speak and press the button off when you are finished. 本日はお席の間にアクリル板を設置しておりますので、ご発言時にはマスクを外していただいて構いません。Acrylic plates are set between the seats. You may take off your mask when speaking. Thank you.
それでは、定刻となりましたので、ただいまから経団連と駐日 ASEAN10 カ国大使との政策対話を開会いたします。私、本日の進行を務めます経団連事務総長の久保田でございます。最初に経団連徳倉会長からご挨拶をお願いいたします。
はい、経団連会長の徳倉でございます。まずはじめに、本日このような形で政策対話集会をアレンジいただきましたタンシンガポール駐日大使をはじめ、お忙しい中ご来席いただきました駐日 ASEAN10 カ国大使の皆様方に 感謝を申し上げます。また、大使の皆様におかれましては、日頃より我が国企業の ASEAN 各国におけるビジネス展開をご支援いただいており、この場をお借りしまして厚く御礼申し上げます。我が国と ASEAN とは地理的にも近接し、長年にわたり深く重層的な関係を構築してまいりました。我が国経済界は言語、民族、文化など多様性を有すると同時に、一つの共同体として繁栄を目指す ASEAN の姿に強い共感を覚えております。日本企業は ASEAN 各国に積極的に事業を展開しております。ASEAN 各国は今や我が国の製造業の海外の生産拠点の中核として、また金融、保険など非製造業にとりましても、国際競争力の源泉として極めて重要であります。現在、新型コロナウイルスの感染拡大や気候変動問題といったグローバル課題の顕在化、デジタルトランスフォーメーションの急速な進展、グリーントランスフォーメーションの重要性の高まりなど、世界は大きな転換期にあります。我が国と重要なパートナーである ASEAN が、これまで築き上げてきた基盤、信頼関係をもとに連携を一層強化しながら、新たな価値を競争し、新時代を共に切り開いていくことが不可欠であります。こうした観点から、経団連では本年6月に提言、新時代の日 ASEAN 関係、連携と競争による持続可能な社会の実現に向けてを公表いたしました。本日お手元にお配りをしておりますが、提言では日本と ASEAN との具体的な連携競争に向け、連結性強化に向けたハード、ソフト両面の社会資本整備、持続可能な成長の実現など、5つのアクションを掲げております。これらのアクションをベースに、本日、ASEAN 各国駐日大使の皆様と具体的な方策について、率直な意見交換を行いたいと存じます。限られた時間ではございますが、本日の会合における懇談を一つの契機に、新たな時代の日 ASEAN 経済連携の進化と競争関係の構築に向けて、共に歩を進めていきたいと考えております。どうぞよろしくお願い申し上げます。私からの挨拶は以上でございます。ありがとうございました。
はい、ありがとうございました。それでは続きまして、ピーター・タン駐日シンガポール大使、この ASEAN コミュニティ in 東京の議長からご挨拶をいただきます。タン大使、よろしくお願いいたします。
A very good afternoon. Thank you, Chairman Tokura, distinguished members of the Keidanren, my ASEAN colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank Chairman Tokura and your Keidanren colleagues for inviting us here today for this very good opportunity to have a frank discussion, more importantly, to have an in-person meeting, especially after the Kinki Daisen has been lifted. It's been a long while, and we are very thankful for this face-to-face opportunity. It is indeed my pleasure to deliver remarks as the chair of the ASEAN Committee in Tokyo today. The long-standing relations between Southeast Asia and Japan have been underpinned by the 1977 Fukuda Doctrine. The doctrine, introduced by then Prime Minister Takeo Fukuda in 1977, talked about Japan as an equal partner with Southeast Asian countries that aims to build a mutually beneficial heart-to-heart relationship. And I'm very gratified to have seen the Keidanren policy paper on collaboration and co-creation. Southeast Asia continues to present tremendous economic potential for Japan and Japanese businesses and investment. And Southeast Asia achieved a collective growth of about 5% for many years, making it one of the world's best performing regions. I believe Japan and Japanese businesses understand the attractiveness of Southeast Asia. That is why Japan businesses have such a significant presence in ASEAN, and also why it is possible to meet Japanese expatriates and enjoy Japanese cuisine almost everywhere in Southeast Asia. Today, I will make 3 points on how we can further grow this long-standing relationship. First, we should work together to emerge stronger from the COVID-19 pandemic. The global pandemic has posed problems for all countries and regions, Japan and Southeast Asia included. ASEAN and Japan have been relatively successful at managing COVID-19. This is due to our combined efforts to protect global supply chains and redouble health cooperation. On behalf of my ASEAN colleagues, I would like to thank Japan for its generous donations of vaccines to Southeast Asian nations. But more needs to be done, especially in reinvigorating our economies and coordinating on the safe reopening of travel. Countries all around the world are starting to reopen their borders. ASEAN and Japan should not be left behind. And we can reopen our borders more safely if we cooperate when doing so. In Singapore, we have established a total of 16 vaccinated travel lanes, or the VTLs, with partners across Europe, the US, Asia, and Australia. Under the VTL arrangement, vaccinated travelers can travel between Singapore and the other country without quarantine. Travelers will be subject to COVID-19 testing and any further requirements determined by the host country. VTLs also allow both parties to resume air connectivity in a safe and careful manner. Since the launch of our VTLs, only about 1 in every 1,000 arrivals of the vaccinated travel pass holders to Singapore were tested positive. We plan to implement more of such arrangements, and we are keen to extend our VTLs to other partners, including Japan. Other ASEAN member states, such as Thailand, have introduced similar policies to safely resume people-to-people exchanges. I hope Japan and ASEAN can quickly and safely reopen and coordinate in doing so, such that the dynamic cooperation amongst all of our countries can resume. My second point is that ASEAN and Japan must stay ahead of the curve by pursuing innovative cooperation in emerging fields. I'm glad that ASEAN and Japan have cooperated closely on smart cities, with the latest ASEAN-Japan Smart Cities Network high-level meeting taking place virtually 3 weeks ago. Our smart city cooperation has helped many private sector companies, including Japanese companies, to leverage on technological solutions to stimulate development in Southeast Asia. These solutions are win-win. Japanese companies have seen wider adoption of their technologies, and members of the Smart City Network, such as the Makassar in Indonesia and Da Nang in Vietnam, have been able to address development priorities and exchange best practices. We should continue such cooperation in other innovative fields such as digitalization. In Singapore's experience, digitalization has been useful in including our management of COVID-19. 92% of our population aged above 6 years old uses the Trace Together program, which helps us with contact tracing. This enables us to use a robust system of vaccination and testing to allow people to participate in activities such as dining in restaurants, performances, sports events, weddings, religious events, and visiting malls and gyms. People who are vaccinated outside Singapore can have their vaccination record verified and reflected in the application. Endemic COVID-19 is a reality. I hope that ASEAN and Japan will be able to make use of digitalization to create interoperable vaccine certification systems. I also hope Singapore's experience can be useful in this regard and look forward to hearing from everyone on their experiences with digitalization and COVID-19 during our discussions later. My third and final point is on climate change. something which Chairman Takura had mentioned about the green transformation. Japan and ASEAN collaborate on climate change in many impactful ways, from the ASEAN-Japan Climate Change Action Agenda 2.0, adopted at the recent ASEAN-Japan Summit in October last month. From that agenda item to the Partnership to Strengthen Transparency for Co-Innovation. Phase 1 of the Partnership to Strengthen Transparency for Co-Innovation, or we call it PASTI. The phase 1 of PASTI concluded in July last year and has contributed to the availability of high-quality carbon offsets credits in the region. Phase 2 has just begun and will continue Japan's and ASEAN's good cooperation in improving system for facility-level greenhouse gas monitoring and reporting. The systems we develop together will also undoubtedly be useful for our experts in their efforts to develop a more robust international rules system for greenhouse gas effects. The progress we have made from the launch of PASTI Phase 1 in 2018 to the launch of Phase 2 in 2021 is a good example of how our cooperation builds on past successes to make meaningful differences for our businesses and our people. We should redouble our cooperation on climate change, making use of ASEAN's and Japan's natural compatibilities in emerging fields such as clean hydrogen technologies and climate financing. In the beginning of my remarks, I mentioned that it is possible to find Japanese cuisine almost everywhere in Southeast Asia because of our excellent relations. In closing, let me add that it is also important becoming increasingly possible to find Southeast Asian food in Japan, which is a sign of the continued growth in our relations. In fact, the ASEAN-Japan Center, set up by Japan and ASEAN in 1981 to promote trade, investment, and tourism between us, has recently posted an article introducing 10 noodle dishes from the 10 ASEAN member states. And these dishes are soto mi kawin from Brunei, nom bancok from Cambodia, mi ayam from Indonesia, khao piak sang from Laos, curry mee from Malaysia, mohinga from Myanmar, pancit lulok from the Philippines, laksa from Singapore, kway teow nam tok from Thailand, and mee kuang from Vietnam. Food diplomacy is actually very close to my heart, as I believe it is one way for all of us in ASEAN to show our omotenashi towards each other and also to Japan. Perhaps I would like to invite everyone here to read the ASEAN-Japan Center's article and to try the dishes it has mentioned. For Singapore, the article mentioned laksa. Let me just do a little bit of advertisement here. I was glad to work with Seijo Ishii to create a dry laksa bento recently, so that more Japanese can experience Singapore cuisine and also for Singapore to remain in the minds of Japanese. I hope you will try them. And on that note, I look forward to the discussions today on how we can further strengthen ASEAN and Japan relations. Thank you very much.
はい、タン大使ありがとうございました。それでは、プレスの方はここでご退席をお願いいたします。
大丈夫、これは僕の仕事です。
絡んでる。